Hi, welcome to 22 NU Podcast. I'm Anais Salas, your host and producer, and today I have a very special guest. This is Nzadi Michelle Keita. She is a poet. I had the opportunity to hear her poetry and meet her last year, and we even did a coffee date together because I was so deeply enchanted by her work. And I write poetry, and it's always good to connect with another poet when we can find the time to do it. So, Nzadi, thank you for taking some time today to be here.
You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me. And I wasn't even sure I liked poetry until I saw this.
Mhm.
And then I started buying it because at that point there were small presses, small independent presses like Broadside Press in Detroit, which was the press that published Sanchez's first book for $1. I
Mhm.
still have my copy. And so, and so I could sit and I still didn't understand, I knew that there were people out there in the world who were on drugs, but summer word for a sister addict is the speaker is a young woman, a teenager and it tells the story in her own perspective of how she starts shooting drugs because she's angry at her mother.
Mhm.
None of that spoke to my life, but the idea of that she would choose to give voice to a young black woman who was angry about something
Mhm.
and who had a fractious relationship with her mother, that was enough permission right there.
Right.
And so, and so to move it along, let's see. So I'm looking right now at the wall. I can't quite see it, but I pretty much memorized a poem by Lucille Clifton. That's one of her really famous poems that doesn't have a title, but we call it by the opening line of the poem. Won't you celebrate with me?
Mhm.
And the closing lines are what won't you come celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed.
Oh, you've just given me all over body chills just saying those words.
Oh, but the whole poem, I mean, the whole poem is permission for me because it
Yeah.
starts out, won't you celebrate with me
Yeah.
what I have made into a kind of life? I had no model,
Right.
born both something, I'm riffing now, but it's something like born both non-white and female, uh, in, born in Babylon, both non-white and female. What did
Yeah.
I see to be except myself? Ah,
Right?
what
Right.
did I see to be except myself? So if
Right.
that wasn't the door
Permission.
getting flung open, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that's interesting. I love it that you shared that because I believe in a universe that wants everyone to have that experience of their awareness of this is me. I really believe in a universe that is that generous and that is so excited that it has created so much life for us to have the possibility of what is that like, and that we can crash into those moments and crash into those opportunities and bounce off of them and have them ricochet all inside of us until
Yeah.
we begin to find that space that is absolutely uniquely, completely uniquely, and totally our own. At the same time, it vibrates and resonates with the rest of life and the rest of humanity. And the collisions when they're, oh gosh, because, growing up in that time where the collisions were racial, or where the collisions were about gender, or where the collisions were about power, all of these collisions, every one of them is a space in which some developing, open, available human being whose spirit has not yet been killed grabs the possibility of here I am.
and says it in no uncertain terms.
Absolutely. Like that to me is the glory of being a human being. I mean, just let me
Yeah,
say
yeah,
it.
yeah, and also the glory of finding that. So if I had um not given myself permission to be bookish and somewhat solitary, and believe me, as I grew up, those were not good things in the outside view of the outside world. Um, some of the people in my family did not understand that kind of behavior.
Right. My family either. They're like, oh God, leave her alone. I don't
And
know.
therefore no, no, but see, it wasn't leave her alone. Leave
Oh,
her alone is those are the golden words. That's where the liberation is, when they leave you alone. Um, Sanchez talks a lot about that, about her grandmother used to protect her from people trying
mhm.
to judge her because she was wild and liked to play with the boys, and her grandmother said, "Leave her alone."
Leave her
So,
alone.
I didn't really have anybody saying, "Leave me alone." But I started saying it.
Well, this is the thing, and this is one thing I think that we have in common. I know that there's a feeling of a connection that I have with you that I really value. And it may be that when we're talking about the permission, was
You have
I,
to give
I
yourself the permission,
yeah, I
basically.
gave myself the permission, and anybody that tried to infringe on that, I became a wild child. Like, absolutely, you cannot do this to me. I will make you pay for even trying to do this to me. And at some point, it led to leave her alone.
Yeah, well, eventually they do get it. That's true. I mean, eventually they're like, okay.
Uh,
So then the next stage is you have to carry the mantle of the weird one, or
yes.
fill in the blank. The antisocial one is how I would sometimes depict it, or the evil one. And
Ugh.
all of that was like, I was like, okay, so those are just people that don't get me. I mean, that's all
Right,
right.
right.
Like, don't hurt me about it, and nobody tried to hurt me, but they tried to browbeat me into being somebody else or being like somebody else. I don't know. It's just the way I was made. When I was 4 or 5,
Were you
uh,
able
I
in the
knew that I wasn't.
yeah,
Why did I have to be like somebody else?
you didn't, but in the educational system where did you go to public school here in
Oh yes, of
right,
course.
okay. So in that environment, I found in my growing up years that there were people, there were teachers who made it their business to hurt me. They,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, they did. They
you
made
didn't
it.
have time to list them all.
Yeah, well, right. So this is, I think, it's an important thing for us because the awareness of people who are watching this in my other work that I do as a life coach, they may have buried the moments when someone attempted to kill their spirit and they don't recognize the damage that that does and how it
Hmm.
warps your life. And I
Hmm.
mean,
And
that's
then
the
thinking it was their fault or something.
thinking it's your fault. I mean, that's the story of why a young girl starts shooting Sister Ass, becomes Sister Addict, because that's going on around her, and she can't make any other sense of it other than it
Right,
must be me.
right, right.
So I want to make sure we cover this because there will be people listening who haven't connected those dots yet,
Mm,
and they
yeah.
need to connect
I
them.
mean, to a degree, again, what did I used to say to my students all the time? So many things come down to place, time, and circumstance.
Absolutely.
So you need to pay attention to those things so that to draw what you can. So as I said, when I was a teenager, a young teenager, the Black Arts Movement was popping. And so what that means is that when I was a younger child in elementary school, um, the civil rights movement was popping. And for people who don't understand this, given what popular culture is now, at that time there were 3 TV stations. News came on at 6 o'clock, period. Everybody watched the same news programs. And and black people were a vastly uncommon sight on television.
Mm,
So when in my house, when my father came home and dinner was getting served or about to be, and the news was on, and I'm seeing black people on the television, on the news, people who look like the people in my church, people, women who look like my Sunday school teachers, getting dragged by their shirt collars by policemen, getting hit over the head with batons, getting dog sicked on them.
mhm.
I'm like, what? What kind of world is this?
Correct.
And so so a lot of things that I began to understand about the world start with what I saw on that
Right.
TV. And and again, because I was raised in the church. We went to church every Sunday. All the platitudes, all the theories, all the pronunciations, all the singing, white Jesus up at the front of the altar,
Phew.
and I'm sitting there going at 6 o'clock, sitting next to my father, quietly going. So the people that look like this,
Yeah.
like Jesus, are also the people doing this
Yes.
to the people who I've grown up around, who all I see them doing is working, waiting for the bus, and cooking dinner, and doing it all over again, and taking care of us. This makes no
No.
sense. And if this is supposed to be the truth, then there's got to be another truth out there because this is nonsense.